Welcome back to God is Alive. My name is Serena, and here I speak all about what it truly means to have a personal relationship with God. We have faith every day that we'll wake up tomorrow, so I want to start a fire in your heart to stop chasing the temporary things of this world and to put that same faith in God. So let's learn about God and learn to lean on God, because what's the worst that could happen? Hi, my loves. Welcome back to God is Alive. My name is Serena, and today I'm speaking about wisdom and righteousness. Walking in wisdom and righteousness, is it important? Do we have to do it? Why should we do it? First of all, it's really important to actively want to seek wisdom and understanding. Knowledge is attaining information and understanding about something. And wisdom is being able to apply the knowledge or the information that you've learned. We all know wisdom, knowledge, understanding, but we also may know not to do something and we do it, or we may know we should do something and we don't do it, and that's foolish. So it's important to seek wisdom and understanding about things. Knowledge is knowing that I gotta pay my bills, but wisdom is knowing you should actually do it. Do it now, not put it off, not ignore it. Being able to apply the knowledge that you know. So then that means that being foolish is the opposite of wisdom. If you act in dumb ways, even though you know the truth, that's foolish. That's not acting in wisdom. Now Solomon was very wise. He states in Proverbs chapter 2, verses 12 through 15, "Wisdom will save you from the ways of wicked men, from men whose words are perverse, who have left the straight paths to walk in dark ways, who delight in doing wrong and rejoice in the perverseness of evil, whose paths are crooked and who are devious in their ways." Verse 20 says, "Thus you will walk in the ways of the good and keep to the paths of the righteous." He states, Proverbs chapter 2, verses 9 through 15, "For wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. You will understand what is right and just and fair, every good path. Discretion will protect you, and understanding will guard you. Wisdom will save you from the ways of wicked men, from men whose words are perverse, who have left the straight paths to walk in dark ways, who delight in doing wrong and rejoice in the perverseness of evil, whose paths are crooked and who are devious in their ways." Wisdom will save you. Wisdom is important. Solomon was one of the wisest and wealthiest men ever, and he says wisdom's important. So how do we get wisdom? Number one, we can accept and store up God's commands in His Word. Internalize the Word. Cherish God's teachings from the Word. Realize their value. Get knowledge from the Word, from God, and realize how relevant it is to you in your life. How much it can help you down the right path and away from the wrong path and the wrong people. Turn your ear to wisdom and apply your heart for understanding. It is so important to actively listen to knowledge and wisdom and to pursue it. Proverbs chapter 2 verses 3 through 5 say, "Indeed, if you call out for insight and cry aloud for understanding, if you look for it as for silver and search for it as for hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God." Verse 6 says, "For the Lord gives wisdom, from His mouth comes understanding and knowledge. He holds success in store for the upright, and He is a shield to whose walk is blameless. For He guards the course of the just and protects the ways of His faithful ones." So when you turn your ear and apply your heart to understanding, and you search for wisdom as hidden treasure, you want it, you seek for it, you tell God in prayer that you want it, the Lord will give it to you. And He will bring success along with it. He will be a shield to you so that your walk is blameless and people don't look at you and say, "Oh, well, she's done this and that and she's not perfect," and you will look upright in front of people when you're wise, and you will choose the right things over the wrong things. When you have an earnest desire to gain insight and understanding, passionate desire, then you will find the wisdom of God. Because true wisdom comes from the Lord. Now, why do we need wisdom, really? Why can't we just keep doing things the way we're doing them? Because wisdom guides us to the right path. Wisdom protects us from evil and from pitfalls of the wrong people, of the wrong things, of putting our attention and our love in things that do not deserve it. We get tempted to do these things that aren't good for us, even though we might think they're good for us. Maybe we might know they're bad for us. Jealous, envy, hatred, intoxication, all of these things lead us to do bad things. Things that end up hurting us in the long run. Spiritually, physically, mentally, you name it. But wisdom protects you from going down the wrong road and doing the wrong things. God helps you endure temptation. Proverbs chapter 2 explains very clearly that we get real, true wisdom only from God. And this gives you discernment, the ability to understand what's right and what's wrong. Very important for going through this life, navigating this life. 1 Kings chapter 3, verses 16 through 28 is a parable. I don't know if you've heard it. You might have heard it. 2 prostitutes came to the king, Solomon, and stood before him. One of them said, "Pardon me, my lord, this woman and I live in the same house, and I had a baby while she was there with me. The third day after my child was born, this woman also had a baby. We were alone. There was no one in the house but the two of us. And during the night, this woman's son died because she laid on him. So she got up in the middle of the night and took my son from my side while I, your servant, was asleep. She put him by her breast and put her dead son by my breast. The next morning I got up to nurse him, and he was dead. But when I looked at him closely, I saw that it wasn't the son I had born." But the other woman said, No, the living one is my son, the dead one is yours." But the first one insisted, argued, "No, the dead one is yours, the living one is mine." And they argued before the king. Now King Solomon had wisdom. He had discernment. Not just from him, but godly wisdom, godly discernment. He's got these two women both arguing in front of him over a baby. And he doesn't know which baby is theirs. He doesn't know who's telling the truth. But he has the wisdom and discernment to find out. So King Solomon says, "Bring me a sword." So they brought a sword for the king, and he gave them an order. "Cut the living child in two and give half to one and half to the other." Okay, now that sounds crazy. I'm sure everyone in the room is like, "King Solomon, have you gone mad?" But this is honestly so similar to how God sounds throughout the Bible. God sounds crazy sometimes. He's like, "Abraham, I need you to sacrifice your only son Isaac, the one I made you wait years and years to have, the one I told you all of your descendants were going to come from. Yeah, I want you to kill him." Abraham is like, "Okay, God, I trust you and your plan." But a lot of us don't. And if you don't know King Solomon, you're not going to trust him. You're going to be like, "Why is he trying to kill a baby?" But that's not what he's trying to do. And that's not what God was trying to do in that analogy either, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Because they're wise enough to think a couple of steps ahead. So the woman whose son was alive was deeply moved out of love for her son and said to the king, "Please, my lord, give her the living baby, but don't kill him." But the other woman said, "Neither I nor you shall have him. Cut him in two." So then the king gave his ruling. "Give the baby to the first woman. Do not kill him. She is his mother." He determined that the mom, the real mom of the baby, the one who is telling the truth, is the one that pled for his life, is the one that said, "Don't kill him. I don't care who you give this baby to, just don't kill him." That is his real mom. And so when all Israel heard this verdict the king had given, they held the king in awe because they saw that he had wisdom from God to administer justice. because our God is faithful, he's merciful, and he cares about justice. God will give Solomon the wisdom if it means doing the right thing, and he will give it to you too. Solomon had wisdom, and when you have wisdom, you have the integrity, the quality of being honest and upright, morally sound and just, and it enables you to walk in righteousness. Going back to Proverbs chapter 2, verse 20, it says wisdom allows you to walk in the ways of the good and to keep to the paths of the righteous. God, the Holy Spirit, me even, we all urge you to walk in wisdom and righteousness because we see your potential. We see how much time we spend hurting ourselves in the long run, serving ourselves instead of serving God. Therefore, God refines us the same way gold is refined. You get gold really, really hot. When you heat gold really, really hot, the rest of the metals melt off, revealing true, real gold. And in the same way, God refines us because he views us as gold. So he leads us to become more knowledgeable, to become more wise in our actions, to be more righteous, because he's refining us, because he sees your potential, because he wants to take you to where you want to go. He needs to refine you, and you need to be refined. He sees you as this gold, but you might not. And he's trying to show you the gold that you really are by getting rid of the rest of the metals that don't make you feel like gold. Am I making any sense? This is gold. Job says in Job chapter 23 verse 10, "But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I will come forth as gold." Job delighted in being tested by God. God allows us to be tempted here and tested here. He allows us to endure temptation, to go through hardships, to go through struggles, to come out stronger, more refined, more focused. He knows the way that we take. And Job has the mentality that he will come forth as gold, and we need to have this same mentality, that we're going to come forth as gold too, through the refining process. Therefore, when we're in the trials, when we're in the tribulations, when we're dealing with temptations, we also need to remember to rejoice, to take on Job's mentality that, you know what, I might not know why I'm going through this all right now. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I'm not going to fear. I'm not going to have anxiety. I'm not going to worry, because those minutes that I spend worrying, trying to figure it out, I'm not going to get those minutes back. I'm going to live, and I'm going to be refined, and I'm going to learn, and I'm going to come out of the other end. He ultimately allows us to deal with these trials and temptations to strengthen us because he loves us. Psalms chapter 1 verses 1 through 3 says, "Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the company of mockers, but whose delight is in the law of the Lord, who meditates on his law day and night. That person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever they do prospers." So if you want to be blessed by God, to have whatever you do prosper, we can't walk in step with the wicked. We can't go against God. We need to delight in God. We need to meditate on his word day and night. And then we will be like a tree planted by water, just overflowing, growing so easily. Your path in life becomes a highway. You experience the presence of God, his peace, his favor, and the blessings that come from fulfilling your purpose and having meaningful relationships with the ones that you love and with God. Not to mention, we will be blessed eternity for our efforts here on earth. It's not always easy, but nothing in life is. And when you're dealing with God, the one who made the universe, the one who made you, the one who knows how many hairs are on top of your head, the one who made an entire over 1,000-page book filled with meaningful life stories that you can use and learn from, and that have him in it. Nothing about him is easy. Nothing about life is easy. So if you want to make life a little easier and a little bit more meaningful and a little bit more enjoyable, we can start by turning our hearts to God and to walk in wisdom and righteousness, because there are rewards for living in wisdom and righteousness. We will be protected by God and will be kept from stumbling. So I hope I've encouraged you today to grow closer with God. Today's song of the day is Altar by Hulvey and Forrest Frank. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I do post podcasts every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I'll talk to you again next time. Thank you for tuning in. Mwah. So now you know more about me, but I want to get to know you too. So if you want, feel free to head on over to Instagram and message me at Serena Speaks Podcast with questions or just anything. Also, I plan to create a website soon to foster a community here and to provide resources just for you. As always, thank you for tuning in, and I cannot wait to talk to you again next time. Mwah.